Game night is just around the corner, and since that is a movie about a game night suddenly becoming a little too real, it made me think I'll go back to a game that reminds me a little too much of real life. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my theological analysis. Sometimes life is like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because sometimes life is a little like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What inspired me to do this is game night coming out here just around the corner with Jason Bateman Rachel McAdams, a film about a game night becoming a little too real, and sometimes Mario Kart, even though it's a video game with dinosaurs and gorillas and they shoot turtles at people, it still has those elements that remind me a little too much of real life. Here are some ways that Mario Kart 8 reminds me a little too much of real life. In this game, mushrooms are a good thing. They're a tool. They're a gift given unto you that you might be able to get ahead, that you might be able to boost forward, close the gap. Now, I'm on that cursed Rainbow Road level. I dislike that level. So many sharp turns, but I was really far behind, so my mind was in a very desperate place, and my thinking was here. I am behind, I gotta get ahead, so I'm just slamming that A button without even thinking about it. So now the very tool, the very gift given to me to give me an edge has sent me over the edge. I mean, I went way over that curve, deep into the vacuum of space, and then I think the game, either it was trying to be really nice to me or it was trying to have a good laugh at my expense, but then it gives me 3 spinning mushrooms around my cart as I land. Like, that's the next item it gives me. Are you kidding? It's the mushroom that screwed me up. Sometimes in real life, we are given gifts, talents, and tools. And when we put our mind in the absolute wrong place, in that place of fear, in that place of anxiety, and in that place of desperateness, we can use those tools in the wrong way at the wrong time, and suddenly we find ourselves doing more harm than good. We find ourselves in trouble when this was supposed to be the thing closing the gap and getting us ahead. Instead of giving us the edge, we're over the edge, and that stinks. In Proverbs 3, there's this promise that I hold on to. Think about God in all your ways, and he will guide you on the right paths. Why did the mushroom not work for me? Because my thinking was not elevated. It was down in the desperateness. It was down in the anxiety of I'm behind and I have to catch up. What does elevated thinking look like? There's a place later in that track where I can use the mushroom to get a boost, couple that with a drift when I'm going around the curve, then it could give me the boost I need to get ahead and stay ahead. When we think about God, in other words, when we acknowledge him in our ways and elevate our thinking from that place of anxiety and desperateness and elevate our thinking to him and let him direct our path, let him guide our steps, he will give us items. He will give us those tools, those talents, those gifts, and the wisdom at the right time and the right ways to use them, so they will be the things that put us ahead rather than the things that hold us back. Like it too. Nice guy, good friend. Why? Because when you use the mushroom yet again and shoot yourself off the track, he catches you and saves you from falling into the cold vacuum of space and places you right back on the track. Except here, he places me right back on the track and boom! Did you see that blue shell? It just nailed me, man! It nailed me! The dude put me in harm's way! That little traitor! Actually, there's 2 ways to look at this scenario in real life. I mean, when you look at it, all human beings are imperfect, period. We all are limited, we all have shortcomings, and we all put our foot in our mouths. It's a guarantee that that's going to happen. But there's this promise in Proverbs. There is one who sticks closer than a brother. And that's referring to God. God is the one who sticks closer to us than a brother. He doesn't have failures. He doesn't have shortcomings. And so ultimately, yeah, the time is going to come when our friends accidentally say or do something that hurts us. Maybe they do it on purpose because they're mad at something. The point is, we human beings are limited and we are imperfect. We need to make allowances for those imperfections and have forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key to being free inside and out and moving forward in our race. And we can know that we do have God, who is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. He can carry us where nobody else can carry us. He can help us where nobody else can help us. He can be there for us in ways nobody else can be there for us. The second way to take a look at this is this way. Let's take a look at that replay. Wow, he set me down. Move. Boom. There it is. Did you see how I hesitated, man? Now, I think it was still really close. I probably still would have been nailed by that shell even if I hit A the moment that my tire touched the ground. But the point is, I didn't hit A the moment my tire touched the ground. So I don't know. Maybe I could have gotten just out of the way and been cleared of the shell. So yeah, Lakitu didn't have to put me right smack dab in the shell's path. But I didn't have to hesitate. I could have hit A right away. There is that position where we take responsibility and then we can move on. And when I say this, this isn't about playing the blame game. This is not about getting in bitterness towards others or in bitterness towards yourself. Because forgiveness is all around. Forgiving others and forgiving yourself. But just learning from the mistake. Next time, I'm hitting A the moment that my tire touches the dang rainbow road. And I'm going to try to get out of the way the moment that a little alarm goes off. I'm just going to do my best. And I learn from that. And so that's what we need to be doing in life. Rather than playing that blame game and getting stuck in bitterness, move forward in forgiveness and learn. I have played these Mario Kart games since the N64, all right? I am good at Mario Kart. But oftentimes I do a 3-player game with my wife and her younger brother. And Paul, her younger brother, is freaking fantastic at Mario Kart. In fact, he is so good at it that he doesn't even break a sweat. Like, we could be 100cc, 150cc, the hardest possible races you can fathom. And yet, he has found a way that he can just get so far ahead of everybody that the game at this point isn't even touching him. In fact, the wrath of the game turns on Laura and myself, who are actually still somewhere in the back in the fray of the other racers, where the whole game and all the computers are clamoring over each other to pull the other one down so that they can get ahead. We're being hammered by every lightning bolt and shell and banana possible. And more often than not, Laura's the one who stays pretty solid in second place, and the whole wrath of the game falls upon me. To the point that I always get 7th place. Like, it's suspicious. It gets to the point that when I get 6th place or even 8th place, I do a little dance and go, hashtag not 7th, woo! You know, sometimes that's life. We think we're really good at something, and then somebody comes along who is so good at it, and it looks like they're not even breaking a sweat, and they're so far ahead. And then it feels like you and I are just sitting here working so hard, spinning our wheels, but we're right in the middle of the fray, and everybody is just clamoring over us and pulling each other down to the point that it's so hard to get ahead. And it's like, man, I wish I was in the sunny skies where they were. But see, here's what's happening there. We are looking at their outward success and comparing that to our inward struggle, and we think somehow that's accurate. And it just gets us down, and we can feel so discouraged while we're in the midst of this fray. But you know, there is a cure to looking at somebody that's successful and then being jealous of their success. There is a cure to being discouraged by constantly being clamored over by everybody trying to get ahead. Matthew 6:33, Jesus said, "Seek God's kingdom and his righteousness above all else, and all these other things will be added to you." In other words, if we seek God and his way of doing things above everything else, he will add those other things to us. It's not about God being our cosmic vending machine. It's not about using God as a means to an end. When you look at the verse, it's talking about enjoying a relationship with him because he's good, and enjoying that relationship with him for the sake of enjoying that relationship with him. The interesting thing about that, though, is he is a good father. He knows what we need, and he's going to give us those things that we need. He's going to add those things to us as we continue to pursue to do things his way and the right way. Another awesome verse in Luke 12, Jesus says, "Don't be afraid, little flock, because your Father delights to give you the kingdom." When we seek him first, we get to be at peace about those things, and we don't have to be so clamorous about things. We don't have to try to stomp on people to climb that ladder, because he knows what we need. It is his good pleasure to give us the kingdom. It is his good pleasure to add those things to us that we need, so we can just rest a little and be thankful that he cares about us that much and enjoy that friendship with him. So when you play Mario Kart 8, did you ever think one day you would look at this game so deeply and so philosophically? I bet not. What is your favorite game on the Nintendo Switch? Let's talk about that. And while you're there leaving that comment, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian and hit the bell next to it. That way you're notified for the next theological analysis, movie review, ranking video, trailer reaction, everything else I do here. Hit that bell so you're notified when that drops. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.